I'll call the meeting of the National Board of Assessors to order at 9 a.m. on Thursday, May 19th, 2022. Let the record show that present from the board are Robert Early, Paul Bergeron, and myself, Daniel Hansberry. The first order of business of the meeting minutes. Is there a motion to waive the reading of the minutes of the meeting from the board meeting of May 5th, 2022, accept them and place them on file?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Are there any errors or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. There are no communications. We will move on to new business, and I will recognize Mr. Turgis.
Good morning, Board. I have for you a discretionary preservation easement for the barn located at 70 Coburn Ave. It's part of Sullivan Farm.
And could you define for us a discretionary preservation easement?
So they are to improve or preserve your barn, and the easement is on the cost of the value of the improvements. So, for example, if your barn was worth $50,000, you preserve it, restore it, and now it's worth $100,000. The easement would be for the $50,000 increase in value. And the idea behind it is for people to preserve their bonds and not get taxed for it, or not preserve their barn or silo or whatever because of the increase in their taxation.
Thank you. Any questions from Mr. Turgis?
No questions.
So is there a motion to approve the discretionary preservation easement for the property located at 70 Coburn Ave, account number 47828?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Mr. Turgis, does that conclude your report?
That does. Thank you, Board.
Thank you. This time I'll recognize Mr. Dane. Good morning.
Good morning, board members. Good morning, Mr. Hansberry. I have a list of denials of commercial and industrial property abatements for the tax year 2021. These are 26 properties or accounts which are on a list representing several repeats of appeals or prior appeals. The holdovers exist for a variety of reasons, such as ongoing negotiations, delivery of missing documents, including financial statements, ongoing discussions with the parties involved. Copies of my list were provided to you board members, and I'm available to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Mr. Dane?
No. No, I don't have any.
Is there a motion to deny the 2021 abatements of properties located at various addresses in Nashua, New Hampshire, per the attached list?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Does that conclude your report?
It does.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, there is no unfinished business. We've reached the part of the meeting for public comment. I would remind each speaker that there is a 5-minute limitation per speaker. If anyone wants to address the board, would you please come forward and for the record state your name and address.
Lori Ortolano, 41 Berkeley Street. I don't know when Vision is coming back to do an update, but I had some questions that I want to relay to you to see if you can help me get some answers. I wanted to know what the cutoff date is for the sales data that's being used for this update. The contract doesn't specify that. April 1st is a typical date, and I want to know if they're ending the sales data as of April 1st, taking it through the end of April. I'd just like to get that date. And I also wanted to know if there's a hard date for the numbers coming out. The contract specifies that they have to release the numbers on or before September 1st. There's been a lot of talk that the numbers will come out in July, but I'm trying to understand how real that is. Is that just being said? And the contract affords them September 1, but they have to do all the informal hearings from this update. It's a big job, potentially, particularly given the way these are changing. You could have a lot of people coming out who don't understand the process, wanting to have that informal review. I wouldn't be surprised by that, and that'll take a lot of time. I would like to know if the depreciation issue has been corrected, and if Vision can tell us what that impact is on older homes. So they were trying to decouple the depreciation factor from the effective year built to the condition of the home. And I believe it's probably been reset, and I believe they probably can run a report to look at that. That's going to affect homes probably 1960 and older. Residential and commercial properties, I'd like to try and understand the shift on that. I think based on their last visit here, they're probably winding down or done with the commercial property overview. The last time Rick Vincent and Kim Kleiner did an update to the Board of Aldermen, which was probably last November. I think Rick Vincent was indicating there was roughly a 10% shift potentially, but I'm concerned that it's actually larger given where the ratio fell this year. The ratio dropped almost 10 points in a single year. It went from like 86 or 87 down to 82, and from 82 down to 72. This was a big slide year because property values really went up, but it's the residential that carried that. So I'd like to get an idea, and I think Vision could tell us what that shift is now between commercial and residential properties. Also, with regard to abatements, I'm concerned about our response time. I don't understand why this city carries so many abatements that go back 2018, 19, 20, 21. We pay interest on those, 6%. It's been changed this year to 4% as of 2022. It'll be a 4% return. However, I've talked to other municipalities, and especially the big ones. They deal with their abatements very efficiently. Commercial, they want them cleared, and they don't want to pay the fees. And we have so many that aren't cleared. And I'm trying to understand why. I was trying to figure out what was going on with the Pheasant Lane Mall. The abatement file wasn't down in the office. I don't know what the carryover years are on that. I can't track it. I would have to write a series of right-to-knows. It's really frustrating. And I don't know if that goes back to 18, 19, 20. I have no idea. I just have no way of knowing. One other thing, you know, I've heard rumblings that there's an effort underway by management to try to have Mr. Dame leave the city, retire. And that may not be true, but I just want to say that I'm concerned about that. Because for me, as a citizen who's gone to assessing, the one person I felt that was most knowledgeable and helpful when it comes to answering a question about assessing is Doug Dame. And I was always cut off by this city from interfacing with him. They did everything they could to prevent me from having conversations. I found him to be honest and direct. He's an older guy. They probably want to get rid of him. Doesn't get enough done, whatever the reason is. But there's a lot of issues with age discrimination and that stuff. I've heard the union is working with him to back him. I don't like it because we have the other assessor, who I don't feel is productive at all, who we've had issues with, that this board said, we don't deal with personnel, we look the other way. I don't think he was truthful on his whiteboard. I don't think his past transgressions should have been forgiven. And if he can hold a job here, and if I ever go to that assessor and ask for help, it's, well, Lori, we got 29,000 parcels, and I'll get back to you. If you talk to Doug Dame, he's got an answer like this. So for me, driving him out of the city and trying to fire him isn't helpful. And I just want you to be aware of that. Thank you.
Are there other members of the public who wish to comment? Anybody waiting in cyberspace? Any comments by board members?
No?
No, I don't have any.
All right, is there a motion to go into non-public session for two reasons? First, to discuss matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board, unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance, a tax abatement, or waiver of a fee, fine, or other levy, if based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant, pursuant to RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, parenthetical C. Second, under 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, parenthetical L, for the consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I will call the roll. Mr. Early?
Yes.
Mr. Bergeron?
Yes.
Mr. Hansberry, yes. Let the record show that we have entered non-public at 9:11 a.m.
Okay, I will confirm we're off the air.